Hello, I guess I'm supposed to be audible. Cause I guess it just shut something. Whatever. Let me just check my mic. Yeah, it's working. My hello macro. What's up? How you doing? There's supposed to be a delay in the stream. I guess it's supposed to be like 5 seconds or 7 seconds, kind of, or maybe 10 seconds. I don't know, but it should be fine by me, I guess. Yo, Ankit, what's up? You guys are online. I can see you online here. I guess. I don't know. Whatever. Um, so let's see how many people actually join the stream and then we'll do some coding. Okay. So let me first clarify what's gonna happen here. So I have this project made with Express TypeScript, like the MERN stack without the R, without React. And I've already done some of the part, like the server starts. There are no controllers, like no routes. There is nothing being routed over here. And we're gonna make a job posting site similar to Cracked Tips. Cracked, if I can type it right, yeah, crackedtips.com. How's life? It's going weird, good. I don't know how to say it. It's a weird feeling, you know. Okay, so actually gonna make kind of like this. The front end part, I'm gonna change the front end, but there will be the back end logic where we'll be making first that thing. How do you post here? Oh yeah, post a job, this thing. I'll be making the schema for this one. We'll be testing with APIs for now, like with ThunderClient or Postman. And then we'll maybe just end the stream for today. I don't know whether I'm gonna be able to finish it within this one stream, but we'll see. At least the backend part. Maybe we'll be taking 2 streams. Maybe I'll be streaming tomorrow too. Yeah, we're gonna check. Okay, so we have 4 people here. I guess I'm the one who is watching for the chat, and except me, there are 3 people. Good. Goodbye, me. Actually, I'm streaming after a long time. What do you say? Isn't that true? By the way, my voice is fine, right? I mean, you guys can hear me clearly. Just let me know in the chat. Because I gotta, if that's the case, well, we never finished the DRVGO mission. I actually, do I have that game still here? I really don't remember whether I have that game installed. We'll do it sometime. I can stream it now. We will stream. If you want to play, we can play another time and we'll do it in a stream. Like finish it in a stream. Because I got my gaming channel too. So this is a good topic for that. Why does Epic Games take so much time to load? Perfect. Yeah, thanks, bro. You guys might want to consider that my accent actually changed. Actually, I consider that in a way. That was like too much bragging, but whatever. Bro, why does it take too much time? What is wrong with Epic Games? Maybe this is down too. You guys heard about the Microsoft outage? The server outage thing that caused by... What was the company? Microsoft outage. I guess it was, yeah, CrowdStrike. That's the company. That was pretty weird, actually. Let me actually check whether I have the game or not. Oh, yeah, I have this. I gotta update it, but maybe it's auto-updating, I guess. No, it's not. Okay, that's fine. We'll play it sometime. No worries. I can feel the change, lol. I actually gonna exit it because Epic takes too much RAM. Even though I have 16 GB, but still it takes too much RAM. Okay, so let's actually do some coding. CrowdStrike, yeah, CrowdStrike, right. There is a delay. So I'll be like saying a thing, saying something 10 seconds earlier than right. Or maybe 5 seconds. I don't know. What's the natural delay? What's the natural delay in OBS? By the way, the browser is called Arc if you want to use it. This is like one of my favorite browsers. I'm not pretty sure what I have open in my main space, so I'm not gonna just shift tab. Okay, this is my streaming space. You can see it over here. New PC specs. New PC specs are in my stream. What do you call it? Description. Is it not? Yeah, these are my PC specs. You can just read it from here if you want. You can't just read it from here if you want to. I actually bought this one like 20. What's the year? 2024, right? I bought this one 2022, I guess. Yeah, it should be 2022. I bought my monitor. I bought my mouse this year, January. I bought my keyboard. I guess it should be 2018. It's the same keyboard that I've been using. This one. The the generic keyboard. RTX. Yeah. and not only 3060 OC. You gotta mention that OC, right? And we got our Lewitt mic, my microphone. Coder Freddy, hi, what's up? I can't play with you. I will feel humiliated. No, bro, that's not the case. Yeah, so that's my mic. I got my... Where's the interface? Yeah, that's my interface. Rich people. No, I'm not rich people, bro. Hey, there's nothing to be rich about it. I literally upgraded my setup after... I don't know, maybe I last upgraded it on 2018 December, and I upgraded it this time, like, I don't know, 16th June, I guess, something like that. Oh no, 25th June. Yeah, 25th June. It's no more a Pareto PC. Yeah, I can say that. Now you can say that it's no more a Pareto PC. That's my cabinet, the generic one. Everybody has this cabinet, I guess. And we got our motherboard. I have no idea about motherboards actually, so I just asked my retailer what would be the best one for my graphics card and the CPU, because I got a i7 700F, and I guess he just suggested that this one. It's a micro, by the way. It's M micro. It's a chat PC now. Oh yeah, 3060 OC, the i7 processor, and the RAM Corsair engine, 16 GB. I got 16 GB now. It used to be 8 GB, but it's now 16 GB. Who cares either ways? Whatever. Let's just jump into some coding. Okay. Am I supposed to zoom this? Just let me know. Like, what is the perfect zoom level for this code? Is it good, like the current state, or should I be zooming out or zooming in more? By the way, I gotta change my scene, right? Yeah. Now it's fine. Does chat appear here? Oh yeah, it does, but it's a bit small, I guess. I guess that's fine. That should be good. I'll buy a good enough laptop soon. If you actually want to buy a laptop, my suggestion, my like personal recommendation, you buy a Mac better than buying a Windows laptop. Because at least buy a M2, or maybe just buy a M1 if that's good with you. Zooming, I'm blind. Okay, I'm gonna zoom. That's fine, I guess. Just buy a MacBook. I don't care whatever the version is. Just get a M1 or M2. You don't necessarily like go for the M3. Just buy a M1. That'll be much better. But yeah, but there's a thing. If you wanna do gaming, then that's a different case. Under 60K, you can just get the Asus ROG, right? Asus ROG Strix, I guess. This thing is under 60K, I believe. Or maybe it's not. Never mind. Never mind. I was wrong. Sorry, Ankit. Sorry. Mac has limitations. Yeah, I just said that. It's about gaming. I can watch stuffs and gaming too. You can watch stuffs. I mean, you can just use your browser for that. But yeah, no gaming in Mac. Yeah, that's the problem. That's the only problem that Mac has. But Mac has way better performance than any Windows laptop. Or by the way, you guys heard that Microsoft is coming, or maybe it's Microsoft, or maybe it's Intel. I really forgot what it was. They're coming with a ARM-based CPU processor. Which company was that? Intel? ARM-based CPU. I guess it was Intel. I mean Microsoft. Let me check. Yeah, Microsoft. Yeah, it was Microsoft. Yeah, quite under my version 1.6 lakh. Sorry, Ankit. I'm really, very sorry. Whatever, let's just do some coding. Okay, so let me just explain what I have achieved until now. So we have this project structure. This was like kind of the same project structure that my company uses, but I kind of modified it to my personal preferences. If you actually look closely, it kind of reflects the Next.js default project structure. With the src folder, we have the app, we have the routes, but these are not the routes, but these are the configs. We have the config with the const, with the interfaces, with the lib, with bcrypt, db, helpers, shareability, validation, utils, and we got the types, and finally the server.t as the main file. Okay. Now, let me just show you the package.json, because there are things happening here. I am using ESLint, as you can see over here, ESLint.config.js. We have the total TypeScript. If you actually want to learn, by the way, here's a free promotion of Matt Pocock. If you do not know who Matt Pocock, I don't even know how to pronounce that name, but that's the YouTuber Matt Pocock, whatever you want to say it. He plays games. What? But I didn't even know that. Whatever. So this is the guy. He's like a TypeScript prodigy. I have never seen someone so much. I don't know how to even explain his wisdom, literally. So here's the website called totaltypescript.com. If you visit his site, there will be free courses and paid courses. You're working somewhere like freelancing, Etsy. No, actually taking an internship. After actually like interning the internship, if that's the right term, interning the internship, I'll be getting a permanent job on the company, or maybe they will choose the company for me. Yeah, so, but I really don't want to work in this company. It's just for like learning purposes and just gathering experiences and all that stuff. So yeah, so we have this tutorial section. You can, if you want to learn TypeScript with React, or maybe just beginner TypeScript, just go and do this lesson. He has videos over it. He will give you some exercises, and after you have done the exercises, you will get the solution in a video. Now you gotta sign up for this. I'm not logged in, and I'm not gonna log in because I gotta give my what do you call it, password, email, and I'm just not gonna leak it over here. Yeah, so that's the thing. That was a free promotion of Matt Pocock. If you wanna visit him, go. Actually haven't subscribed because it's my not main channel, right? So I'm not subscribed in this channel. Whatever. So this total TypeScript, what this thing do is just extends from the TypeScript tsconfig. This thing basically gives me the tsconfig default configuration for this no DOM. Like my app will not run on what? Bro went from neat aspirant to hardcore coder. Bro, I wasn't a neat aspirant. I just had a weird luck and I graduated with microbiology. And after graduation, I chose like, I'm not gonna do MSc or masters or whatever. I just wanna continue with coding. So that's why I became a coder. Now you can actually say that I'm a dedicated coder. Yeah. So no DOM. So the first thing is the total types in the package. We have the tsconfig path. We have the TSC. So this TSC is basically whether your app, this whole thing, app is gonna be bundled or not bundled, or maybe transpiled is a better term. Transpiled by TSC or maybe a bundler. So if you guys know, TSC is not a bundler. ESBuild, Rollup, or maybe let's say Webpack. These are bundlers, but TSC is not a bundler. So I'm using TSC because my company uses that, and I kind of hate that. But TSC, we have the no DOM, that my app will not run on DOM, like the React DOM or the normal browser. It will run on Node.js. And finally, the app. So the app is for whether I'll be making an app or for a library. I'm actually going to show you the npm package for this one. I mean, you studied bio after all. Yeah, that's true, but I didn't like it. I have a story for that one. Just let me show this one and then I'll be talking about that. So total TypeScript, npm. What the hell is this thing? Yeah, this one. So that's the package. You can just install it from here. You do not need to set up anything for this one. You will just extend your TypeScript tsconfig with this what do you call it, string, or maybe that's path. So just save it as a dev dependency. Now we have the main part. Like this is really well documented. Then we have the, are you using TSC to turn your .ts files to .js? So if you are using TSC, like the default TypeScript transpiler, if you're using that, then you're gonna use this configuration, whether you have options, but if you're not, then you're gonna go for this one. So by default, if you're using TSC, that I'm doing it over here, if my code runs in DOM, you can go for this one, whether it's gonna be an app, whether it's gonna be a library, or whether it's gonna be for a monorepo. Even this extension supports monorepo, which is the best part about it. Now the second one is my code doesn't run on DOM. So for instance, Node.js, we have the TS no DOM app or library monorepo. Get it? Now finally, we have the, if it does not support TSC or it does not run on transpiled by TSC, we have the bundler option. So bundler, for example, bun, if you do not know what bun is, you'll just die for real. This is a runtime that I use most of my time, bundle-dev. That there's the runtime that you will be watching me doing that. Hello, Zov Russia, what's up? That I'll be doing. Okay, so yeah, that's the fact. So we have just extended our TS config from here. We have the compiler with out there with test. So we'll be compiling to what do we have over this thing? Yeah. So we'll be compiling or transpiling to test, and we have the include. So we're going to include this folder. Okay. Now let's actually jump into the server.ts. We have the .env config where I am porting from .env over here because my company uses npm and or actually better to say node, and node does not recognize .env for a very weird reason. You can actually get the flag where you can just write where is that thing. Yeah, so it does not run on node, by the way. It runs on nodemon, and nodemon and nodes are different. So if I show it over here, you can just use the flag node-env-file equals to .env. If you mention this one, you do not need to install this package .env. Okay, but if you do not install this one, you gotta you gotta set up your .env/config, and then you gotta use your process.env. Yeah, and I didn't use that because my company doesn't, so I have to do this thing. So next up, we have the Express because we will be using Express. We have the body parser for getting JSON data. We have the cookie parser because we will be using JWT to set the session, and we'll be setting the session via cookie. And lastly, we have the CORS. Now the CORS is our cross origin, that thing. I do not even know the full form of CORS. What is it? Cross origin resource sharing. Resource sharing. Yeah, that's good actually. Thank you, Zavlashia. Next up, okay, so now we're actually going to set up our Express app. We have the constant app equals to Express. We're going to db.connect will be coming over here later, but it is basically our MongoDB setup. And we have the bp.json to get the JSON body. We have the URL encoded with extended true with the cookie parser as middleware. And finally, we have the CORS setup with the origin so that we can only get data, or we can only communicate with a front end with this URL. For now at HTTP localhost 3000, but you can actually change it to whatever your URL is. So for example, if I try to connect with my, let's say, I don't know, it's my portfolio, so it's going to be it's DRVGO.me. Yeah, so that's how it works. So only if I send request from this URL, my server will respond, and if I don't, for example, if I do it like if I send a request from, let's say, https prmp.com, this will throw an error, but this will work. Got it? And I think credentials true because we'll be using SSL certification with that. By the way, I gotta change it to localhost. My English weak, don't think. Yeah, who cares about that, bro? So finally, we're actually listening to our what do you call it, app, Express app, and we're logging our info. So now let's actually jump to this parts. I actually want to set up my DB first. So I have this DB over here with the inside the lib with the DB folder, and I have the index.ts. I'm gonna set up my mongoose, like recur from mongoose. I'm gonna actually, let's talk about the logger first. So this is my custom class. You do not have to like have it in a way. You can just write. I just installed chalk to get these colors. If I wanna see it, bun. Yeah. So this weird colorings that you're seeing, they're coming from chalk. Chalk does that thing. So you can just import chalk. This, if I'm not wrong, this package, the current version of this package, which is I don't remember the current version. Yeah, 5.3.0 only supports ES modules, so like import export statements. But if you wanna do it with common JS modules, I guess you gotta downgrade to a 4 point something version. Let me check actually. Chalk npm. So if you're using with raw JavaScript, you gotta use this version, whatever this is. This one. Where's that version? Yeah, 4.1.2. That's the version. If you wanna do it with normal raw JavaScript, vanilla JavaScript, you're gonna use this version. But if you're using TypeScript or modules, maybe CJS, MJS, whatever, you're gonna use this version. So I'm actually using that version, 5.3.0. And let me just get back to my logger. Yeah. So the logger, first of all, we have the class. I'm actually exporting the class as constant, the named export. We have the first function info, where we're taking the array of messages. Then we're just logging it with the timestamp, which you are seeing. I forgot. Which you are seeing over here. 12:33:44 is our current timestamp. And we got warn, error, debug. That's it. As simple as that. Next up, we have the generate DB URL. This thing was actually recommended by my company. It doesn't make any sense making a different function to actually get these things like destructuring the protocol username, password, host name. College starts next month. Aren't you living in Kolkata right now, Ankit? If I'm not wrong, I mean, you told me once, right? By the way, so destructuring it from process.env and then joining them, you could just do it in your .env. I'm pretty sure I'm actually hiding it. Should I be clicking it? Let's not do it. So basically, I have my .env set up like in a way where I'm doing this. So if this is my .env, I have this db underscore protocol, yeah, something like that. So that's currently my .env, this file. I'm not gonna open it because I'm not pretty sure whether cloak is enabled or not. So that's why I'm doing it. Yeah, so .env. So we're actually destructuring it from .env and then we're joining the URL. I guess there are benefits for that, like you can just swap the username and password to get different access levels. But yeah, no, I thought I will, but I changed my mind. We could actually. Narrowly Institute of Tech, I guess, you know, yeah, my one of my seniors was there, and one of my friend is still studying there, or maybe he is graduated. I guess he's graduated. I'm not pretty sure about that. Whatever. Yeah. So yeah, so I'm just making the URL from here, which we are importing over here. Next, we have the models. Now we're actually doing a thing which is common in Next.js, like if you use Drizzle or Prisma, where you make a class database, you give it a name db, and then you just access your models using db dot your jobs or users. That's the Next.js way, but I thought, why not? Why shouldn't I implement it over here? So I made the class database with the private read-only URI, the URL for the database with string, the public users, the users model that comes from here. So we'll be talking about that later because there are some things that I gotta talk about. And so the users model and the jobs model, we're defining types, and then we're making the constructor with URI with this dot URI equals to URI. You never told the tips for CSE. Bro, I'm a microbiology student. How am I supposed to tell you the tips for computer science? Or CSE is computer science, right? Isn't it CSC? No, CSE. CSE full form. Oh, computer. Oh, that's the full term. I even knew it. Like computer science engineering. I thought it would be CSC, so that C stands for computer and SC stands for science. I don't know. Yeah, that's the first time I'm actually. Lol, that's fun. Okay, so this dot URI equals to URI. Then we have the this dot users equals to user, and finally jobs. So you're actually basically assigning these models to our database class. Okay. Well, you're a microbiology student and doing coding here. Yeah, but I'm not like mentally trained as an engineer, if that makes sense. Like in the Indian way, I'm not mentally trained as an engineer. That was creepy. Whatever. So next we're making a function for connect with async, and next we have we're actually basically establishing the connection with this dot URI that comes from here, from the constructor. Lastly, we're actually logging the info that connected to database, this name. Next, I just made this optional, whether I'm going to use it maybe later, but I don't know, disconnect. So we're just going to disconnect from the database and we're just going to log it. Okay. Finally, we're exporting it and we're getting the URL from the function, this thing. Okay. Now that we have done it, we can get back and just write db.connect. db will give us access to connect, disconnect, jobs, and users. Fine. Just some knowledge, I think. Yeah. That's a different thing, you know. look, I haven't done DSA, like the generic structure for CS students in India. So CSE, not CSE. General topics, let's say. I haven't done DSA or some other stuffs that usually normal CS students do. For example, yeah, this thing. I haven't done this. Never touched Java. I don't even know what this is. Not any idea. This thing kind of have an idea. IT in space, nope. Is this even in? What the hell? Oh my god, this is. Oh my god, this is the actual syllabus for. I'm pretty sure that's not the actual syllabus. What the hell is this? Imagine studying biotech and getting a job in high-tech company. Actually, biotech would be an option for me, but I really didn't want to go for the bio, like the term bio. I don't want to have my even actually the thing is, if I actually show you my resume, I have this over here actually. Resume, this thing. I have my education with microbiology. So the first thing my recruiter or maybe whoever interviews me sees, I have freelance developer, development. We have the development course, my languages, Next.js, highlights, Next.js, problem solving, whatever. Then the recruiter comes to education and he sees microbiology. He will like, what? Why this guy has microbiology in his resume where he has this much experience with this much language skills and everything? This would be like hilarious. I'm literally waiting for this day. For real, bio and you have no dur ka rishta. Yeah, actually, you're not wrong. Yeah, so actually connecting the DB, and then we're actually using. Now actually I can talk about the API router. Yeah, actually let's talk about the model. Okay, so let's actually go to our user model. Where the fuck is my models? Yeah, user. Okay, so let's actually open the post. Yeah, this is the normal. If you guys have watched my Discord chase videos or streams, you guys are already familiar with how I tend to write code in MongoDB or Node.js, because these were my old videos and you guys were there, some of you actually. And so this is a normal constant user schema equals to new schema, but this time we're actually passing a generic. If you do not know what generic is, it's basically you can say it a function of a function that defines what okay, let me think actually how am I supposed to say it. Okay, let's actually break it down. So for example, let's say we have an index.txt. Okay, now we're going to make a function export, or maybe not export, or maybe just export it, who cares. Export function, let's say that will be fine, but I'm gonna take my chances. Get response. Okay, now here we're going to pass a generic. We're going to name it t. Okay, that's the function. Okay, let's actually make a normal function first. Now we're just going to return data. Now what the fuck is data? We're just going to pass, we can just pass data over here, right? Or maybe let's say we can access some properties of data. Now as it is TypeScript, I gotta mention the type of this, so I can just write data as string. Now data is inferred as string, and if I actually save the response inside a variable, so get response of hello world, then it will give me x as a string, right? Now generics are basically generics, like the literal term generic. You set it by a generic option for this type, so you can have t. Basically people use t for generics, I don't know why. So t, then you can just write data as t. Now what it's gonna do is I can infer the type over here, and this will auto infer the type for data. What does that mean? So basically currently it is inferred as hello world. It's not inferred as string. It's the literal value of hello world. So whatever I pass here will be auto inferred as the literal value, right? Now if I change it to number, now it's going to throw me an error because argument type string is not assignable to parameter type of number. Now you're gonna ask, where the fuck is number? I never even mentioned number here. I just mentioned t here. So how does t refer to number? So when I actually call this function, I can pass the generic that I passed over here. This is the generic, like the general sense of generic. I can set anything over here, and this will be inferred wherever I put this. So if I do this like this over here, so whatever I put here will be set, will take the value or the parameter of that thing and will be output as that same type. Okay, if that makes sense. That's a weird concept. Basically, it's hard to teach in a way. Whatever. Let's actually not talk about that. Okay, so t. So I just put number over here. So now t is number. So this thing is also number. Now, does that make sense? If we have number here and we have the data type of number, then it's obviously gonna throw an error. Same, if I do string over here, it's nothing gonna do. It's just gonna return me string. But if I do string array, it's gonna throw me an error. But if I wrap it inside an array, it's gonna give me the string error. Sorry, string, what do you call it? Array. I guess it's not clear in a way, I believe. So let's just delete this and get over here. So I'm actually inferring the type of user document. User document is basically extended from document, the default document type of Mongoose, and the data, user data that comes from our validation. So this thing is a sort schema. It comes from user data, right? So user.js. What the fuck is user.js? So our user data is this thing that gets inferred from user schema. So there's a car honking in your room. I don't hear a car honking in my room. I live in India. That's normal actually. I mean, you can complain about it. You shouldn't be complaining about it. Whatever. So export constant user schema equals to the object where we have the username with the, like, I believe you guys know about Zod, right? So Zod is basically a validation library. So Zod documentation, you can just read it. So let's see. We have the types over here, shape, key off, or maybe what the hell are the types for string, those things. Yeah, this one, Zod. Yeah. So you can have literal types like strings, numbers, bigins, not numbers, booleans. So basically whatever you type here will be inferred as the final type that we'll be parsing to. So if we have the username as string, the final type when we'll be parsing your raw data, like if I show it over here with index.ts. So let's actually make a generic schema for user. So export constant, let's say user schema equals to z.object. You can have username with the same thing, z.string, just give me, yeah. And let's say the password, or maybe let's say the, I don't know, phone number, because I want to have a number type. So, or maybe age, yeah, that will be fine. Age, c.number. Then you can have int positive. Now, what do you do, bro? I'm like, what am I doing right now, or what do I do like by profession? Which? Yeah, so we have the username and age. So if, for example, I'm actually feeding the data. So let's say we have an object with constant data equals to username and age. Now let's set the type as any. Okay. Now if I try to destructure from data, it will give me nothing as intelligence, right? It's empty. If I stop my infer, then it will give me age and username. So let's actually type it as any. Now by default JavaScript infers anything as any if you are importing it in another file, and if they're like by profession. Okay, I'm a full stack developer currently interning in a company. I could say the company name, but I don't wanna, but whatever. Yeah, so I'm currently interning in a company. That's it. So what is the correct way to validate whether the data that we have inside here is the same data that we get back here? For example, we can just write user name without an e, and we can just write age, let's say with ADGE. Okay, so we do not know whether username and age are valid or not, or even whether we have the username as G and let's say age as -20 or not. Right, that's where sort comes in. You can just write user schema dot parse. We have two options, parse and save parse. I'll be talking about save parse later. With parse, then I can just add data. Now it will give me two errors. See this row red lines? It says username is not assigned, sorry, not this one. Property username does not exist on type username string age number. So it auto infers from the Zord schema, the TypeScript schema. Now if I give control space, it gives me username and age. And if I try to console log this thing which I'll be explaining later, it will give me an error that J, because we have the username must be at least 3 characters long. So it will give me, throw him an error or maybe a response, whatever. Now the last option is save parse. Save parse basically gives us a data, I believe. It gives me a response back. You can actually give it whatever you want. Cool, are you a college student? No, I've graduated. I have graduated, and I don't know how to say it, but I'm graduated in microbiology. Peace. So the response actually gives me 2, 3. I used to know 2, but by the way. So if the response is success, then we can just get the response. Sorry, response dot data. But if there is an error, we can just get response dot error. Okay. Now there is an error because I'm literally just rough coding. Whatever. So we have the schema with username, password, the password with the regex. With the after URL is verified, role, status, and is restricted. Now, for some, actually, I was actually asking my Copilot chat whether I should be. Where the hell did that go? Yeah. So if I go to my roles enum, this is my roles enum with admin, mod, poster, seeker, user. So as I'm making a job posting platform, I gotta make a poster like whether you're a job poster, dedicated job poster, or whether you're a job seeker. So by default, there will be 5 roles, and default role will be user. And I will be the admin. There will be some moderators, there will be some posters, some seekers, and the default is seeker. The default is user, right? So when someone signs in, they will get the default user role. Now I'll be asking them on the UI whether you want to become a job poster or a job seeker, or you have the third option whether you're just gonna roam around, like you're not gonna seek or you're just not gonna post anything. We're just here to check out what's happening in the platform, what's the upcoming updates or something like that. Get it? So by default, the role will be user. That's what I actually asked over here. I'm making a job posting platform. What roles should I make? Admin, mod, user, or admin, mod, poster, seeker? Then it suggested that I should be having 5 roles where the default will be user, and then I can just ask them whether they want to be a poster or a seeker. And if they do not choose any one of those, then I can just keep them as user. Yeah. So the role as c.native enum and default to roles.user, because that gives me the user role. Okay. Now next we have the create user, update as username, update user email, and the update user password. Now there is nothing to explain about this one. It's just get the normal the thing that we have normalized about resetting password, forgetting password, that thing. So I'm just exporting the type from here with the z.infer type of user schema, and then we have the z.infer type of create user schema. Now I'll be exporting more types later, but for now I guess these are fine. Next, the main part, the main job.ts. Now the job.ts was mainly built over this form. This is cracked depths to people who are new over here. This is a job posting platform. I actually have the server over here. I'm actually joined. But yeah. So we have the company over here, company name, and the company email. We have the logo URL. Actually, just make me, yeah. So company, where the fuck did it go? Yeah, logo URL, logo. Then we have the roles. So the position name. You have the type. So the type is job type, full-time, freelance, internship, part-time. Now I actually added one more type, the contract, or maybe internship. Yeah, so full-time, freelance, part-time, contract, internship. These are my enums. Okay, next we have the description, the job description. Now I didn't set the max limit for this one because it would be hilarious if I set a max limit, because there are job posts that job descriptions that go for like I don't know, let's say 1,000 to 1,000 characters. I don't know. So the minimum is 10, but you can go for whatever mark you want to go up to. And the location type, the location types are on-site, hybrid, remote, similar to LinkedIn. They do not have it here because this is basically a remote platform, so that's why. Then we have the location, the actual location, the city and state where the company is located, and finally the salary. Now the salary is a nested object where we have the mode like this one, yearly, hourly, fixed price, or actually I set it to hourly, daily, weekly, monthly, yearly. Okay, and then we have the amount. Lastly, we have the status, whether the job is active or not. Next, we have the whether the job is featured or not. Next, the job is published or not, whether it is in draft mode or published. And finally, the posted by. Now, here is the magic of sort. That literally magic of sort. So the dot refine, this method, what this does is takes your whole schema. And now, for example, I want to do it. If there is company name, they like let's actually say it about it. Yeah. So by default, all the fields will be disabled. Okay, I'm talking about the front end part. Okay, on the UI side, all the fields will be disabled. Only the company name will be enabled. If you validate this field, so if you have company name as 2 characters, these are still will be disabled. But if you validate this one with, let's say, LinkedIn, you just write LinkedIn in company name, all these fields will become available. So that's what refine does. So I just set it to if the data.location type, this data is autocomplete. This thing, location type is location types dot remote. Then we're gonna give it a true. Okay, but if it's not, so if the location is remote, then giving the city and state is optional. But if location is hybrid or on-site, then giving the city and state are necessary. Although I had to write a logic to actually it's gonna be in the front end. Yeah, so it would be like the multiple dependency, what do you call it? I don't even know. Like I'm talking about this thing. Wait, what the fuck is Excalibur? Dark mode. Yeah. So you guys have watched this, right? So for example, you have these 2 fields. These 2 are multiple drop down, like select drop downs. Then this one is, let's say, city, or maybe this one is, let's say, city, and this one is country. Okay, so only if this one is selected, like if you would for example select India, then only you would be able to select this one. That's what I was trying to implement in the UI, but that's the backend, so that's not necessary. So if the data location type with the location type city and state, that's fine. And next up we have to refine with is valid object ID, whether the data dot posted by is a valid object ID or not. If it is not, we're just going to return an error with invalid user ID. Okay. Now let me just do the model. So that's our job schema and that's our user schema. We're good to go. Now I can just make the model form. So where the fuck is my model? This one. So actually inferring the user document, that if you remember extends from document and user data. So inferring the user document through schema, and now this becomes type safe. So if I make it user name without the E, it gives me an error because this is inferred. But if I remove the inference, this will remove the error. That's the magic of TypeScript. Yeah. So username with type string require true, unique true. Email, password after URL is verified, role status is restricted. I believe I haven't missed any fields. Yeah, that's fine. Now, at last, we're actually making fields for created at and updated at, and we're actually making the version key false so that we don't get the underscore fee, that thing, the MongoDB thing. You know what I'm talking about, right? Yeah. So export constant user equals to model. Then we are re-inferring the same thing that we inferred to schema reinferring the same thing to model, and we are setting the name as user, and finally we're giving the schema. Okay. Next step, we have the job.ts. We're doing the same thing. We're nesting the location with city and state, nesting the salary with mode and amount, and finally you have the posted by. Now, if you guys actually know a fix for this one, because if I do it object ID, that is what you are supposed to be doing, object ID, it gives me an error over here that says type object ID is not assignable to mixed, and I couldn't find a fix for this one, and that's why I gave it mixed. But if you guys know any fix for this one, just let me know. Yeah, so referencing the posted by to the users, like the user model, and then we are giving it a required true. The same thing, timestamps true, function key false, and we're making the model with reinferring the job document. Same as the user document, the job document extends from job data and the document from mongoose. Okay, good. Now that we have made the model, we can actually export it. I like to export it all in one file and then re-import it from this index.js. So for now, actually, I'm using TSC to compile. But if this was my personal project, I'd be using ESBuild or Rollup or maybe even Bun. But I have no path than using TSC. Yeah. So now that we have made it, I can just show you. Actually, I haven't made any route, right? So it doesn't make any sense. So we have this enums. What am I supposed to show you now? Controllers, user controller, it's not done yet. Okay, so you can talk about the utils.ts. Okay, so if you guys already do not know, I have a package called evo. Do I need to sign into npm.js? Maybe not. npm.js.com. So I have a package called create evo app. If you guys are familiar with T3 stack, I gotta bring some water for a minute. Yeah. So if you guys are familiar with this one, the Next.js full stack best way to start a full stack typeset Next.js app. So this thing, if you guys are familiar with this one, then you should be at least using this one. Like, at least try evo.fursel.app. That's the website. The best tracker for a full stack developer, used by I don't know how many thousands, whatever. So my stack supports Next.js, TypeScript, Tailwind, ShadCN, TRPC, Supabase as auth, Clerk as auth. So we have both Supabase and Clerk as authentication providers. We have the Supabase Postgres as database. We have the Mongo, and we have the Drizzle. We have both Mongo, like SQL and non-SQL. So this one is non-SQL Postgre, and this is Mongo. Sorry, I just Postgre is SQL and Mongo is non-SQL. And so we have support for Drizzle, Prisma, both, and we have the upload thing from the T3 stack. Okay, so if you want to use this, you can just use this command to start a project. So basically, if you want to use my package, feel free to do it. For some reason, we have 17 downloads this week. I don't know who are even using it. Whatever. So if you guys actually are familiar with the Next.js file structure, you should be familiar with lib types, the types for the whole thing, and the utils.ts. So we're actually importing all the error types from here so that we can sanitize the error content, so that we can get the error message from that content. So we're actually making a function, export function, sanitize error, but the error type is unknown. I could have just made it any, but I guess unknown is a better choice than any for TypeScript, because if it is any, I can just write error dot whatever, or maybe let's say constant x equals to error dot whatever, and it will not throw me any error. But if I write it unknown, it will give me an error, because error is type of unknown, and error does not know whether it has the whatever property in it. But if it is any, then error doesn't know, but it's not sure, right? If that makes sense. Unknown. Yeah. So first of all, we are checking whether the error is instance of app error. So what is app error? App error is my custom class that I'm extending from the generic Node.js error, where we're setting the status of response messages. Now this thing, you guys can just read my blog about it. It's DRVGO.me. The site is live. You can just go to blogs. You can just write, read this one, cfetch and cresponse. I have explained what this does and how this will affect your code and how this will make your code way more readable and way more easy. Literally, just go and give it a read. Feel free to use it. Literally, this made my life way better. This part was the hardest part, I guess, because I had to do this weird extensions and get the weird typing from here, which literally had me thinking, what the fuck am I doing in my life? Yeah. So just I'm setting the response messages type from here, and they're the constructor with message and status. These status are from this okay, error, unauthorized, conflict, forbidden, this thing. Okay. The message is whatever I want to show them, and the status of the error. Okay. Now that's what if there's an instance of app error, then we're actually making error dot message. Okay. Then you have the Zod error, you have the multi error, mongoose, JWT, and the generic Node.js error. That gives me the error dot message. And finally, if the error is not instance of any of this above, we're giving it an unknown error. Right. Next, we have the handle JWT error that we'll be talking about it later. But we have the handle error function. This one does the logger.error, the logger, our class, this class, logger.error, that gives us a red message with bright. So logger.error, first we're going to log the error. So this handle error function will be executed in our controllers or our backend header handling. Okay, we'll be talking about that in our next stream because it's already 1 AM. So next up, we have the error instead of app error. We're doing the same thing, but this time we are making a response with the return C response. Now the C response is the same thing. Just read it over here. That's the whole function written over here. This thing, what it does is it takes a generic with t equals to unknown. We have the res, message, long message, and data. Now inside it, we're actually setting the types for it. The res comes from response. The express response we type. Next up, we have the message as response messages. My response.ts, this thing. Next up, with the long message, a string, and the data as t. So whatever we are going to give over here will be inferred as the data type. Fine. Next, we have the code, the status code for this one. So we're actually auto setting the code for you by making the message, what do you call it? Type safe. So if it is okay, we're going to give it 200. If it is a state, what do you call it? Let's say conflict, it's 409. If it is too many requests, 429. So how does it affect your app? So if I go to controllers, let's just go over here. I'm just going to make a generic function with get users. Let's say we have the async. Oh, maybe actually not. Let's try it. Let's do a scratch thing. Request, comma res as response. It's gonna give me errors, so I gotta make sure it's imported from express. So import type. Yeah. Now I can just write a try catch block. Well, let's say console.log get users. Then I can just write catch error. Okay, that's how you're supposed to be doing that. But in express, you're just supposed to be doing the raise dot status of 200 dot JSON, then you're gonna write this thing. Oh, maybe let's not keep the code. This thing, right? And here you're gonna handle your error with, let's say, return raise.500 JSON, this thing. Right? That's what you're supposed to be doing. But I made it way simpler by making it return C response that gets imported from the utils.js. That takes the first parameter as raise. Then we have the type-safe message that gives all the messages from me, which is okay. Lastly, we have the data, whether we want to send a data or not. And same for the error handling. So handle error with error, comma raise. Now, tell me that isn't easy. Set the C response, that thing with the okay. So if it is okay, we're going to set the code as 200 and we're going to set the status as true. That's what we're returning over here. That's literally the most easiest, like the most not the well, that's the best thing I've done in my history. Yeah. So yeah, that's what we're doing in the utils. And we'll be talking about this later in the next stream, maybe tomorrow. And I guess that's it for tonight. That was a long stream. I guess it was nearly an hour long, I believe. Thanks for watching. Have a good day, night, whatever. Peace. Bye.